So with your ArcMap open, I requested you guys to open your ArcMap when you joined. So with ArcMap open, you will view some of something like this. This is what you will view. This is the interface of ArcMap. So there's a lot in this, and some of you may open and see different panels that maybe are not here. I will show you how to get them if you don't find them. But it is a matter of this panel here called Windows. Windows will enable you. It is like the one we saw yesterday on, for those who are in session on AutoCAD, called View. Most applications use View. So I can see there's also a View in this ArcMap. But Windows and View, they are mostly used if you want to access a tool or something there's something that you can put physically on the interface, like this table of content right here. You see, it's something that was added physically. You can see it physically on your working space. So Windows and View panel are used to help you add more content to your working space, just to help you improve your speed of working and your speed of accessing tools faster. You see, they can be accessed faster if they are very close to your working space. So in this user interface, we will look at the toolbars. Like right now, I have some toolbars in my interface open. And these toolbars, if I want to move them, like if I hover my mouse on these corners here, you will see the mouse turns into a cross. And with that cross on, I can drag that tool. And the tool is labeled standard. So this tool is standard tool. It will come by default when you install, when you open ArcMap. If you don't find it, just come somewhere around here and right click. There's a panel of tools that you will see here. And the ones that are ticked, we have layout and standard. I can still go down here to look for more. I can see tools is also ticked. So when standard is ticked, it will appear. If you don't see it, just tick it here and it will appear. This layout tool, you can see it is somewhere here. If you uncheck it, it will disappear. Okay, and if I check it again, it will appear, and I can grab it from here and bring it here. That is the tools, and then we have this layout right here. So let me bring it here. So these tools, they can easily move. You can see they are easily mobile. ArcMap allows for mobility of these tools for the sake of accessing them faster. Okay, and watch the way they clip when I return them back. There's a way they clip. If you try to work in your interface, you realize they clip so well, and the names disappear. You cannot see the name again because they have clipped the interface. Don't worry about how they are organized. You can organize them in any way you want. Okay, so don't worry about the organization of these tools. And then you have these buttons right here. There's not much about these buttons that is beyond normal, like file. If you have used Word, Microsoft Word, you know what file tab does. It is not very different. Maybe there's some functionality here like export a map and analyze a map. Maybe ArcGIS Online, which is not there in Word, but it is the same thing that we see in other apps as well. We have edit that enables you to undo and redo your work, to cut, copy, and paste, just like any other application. And then view, we will look at view and bookmarks and insert, and then selection, geoprocessing, and customize. We will look at those. Some of these we will not even look at in the first phase. Oh, sorry for that. Some of these we will not look at them in the first phase. They will come later in the later phases. Okay. Yeah. So the basic one you need to know perhaps is this file, how you can save your work, and then maybe view and Windows for the purpose of the tools that are in the interface. Okay. So now let us look at the table of contents. You can see there's a table of contents somewhere around here. So what this table of content does is that it helps you organize your work in your layers. I have sent you data which we will visualize here, and we will check what layers are and how layers appear, how you can uncheck a layer and you can check another one, and so on and so forth. So table of contents just is a table that lists layers as they are in the maps. As you keep adding them, they keep listing here. Okay, and you can see if maybe yours doesn't show layers here, maybe you have pressed some other button right here on the top is pressed. So you can just come to the bottom, the button on the leftmost here and click it. It should be clicked by default. So just in case you don't find the layers, that is how you will find layers. So there's another tool here called catalog. Okay, so catalog, I told you, you can open it as a different application, but again, you can still use it in ArcMap. So this catalog is used to organize your files. And you can see there are folders which are connected. I have been using ArcMap myself. I have connected to a few folders. If you check here, folder connections, I have so many folder connections right here. So what happens with the catalog is it helps you organize your working data well, because you can easily lose your data especially in ArcMap. Your data may be corrupted if you don't organize it well, because your data is scattered into different types and formats, which combine together to form some of these some kind of a format that is understandable to the ArcGIS. Okay, so that is the Arc catalog. You can access it. You can access it here. Again, if you don't see it, okay. So somebody is typing something. Okay. Be a little patient, and then I will check your case when we are done. Okay. For right now, I may not promise you I will do that, because I'm actually okay. Thank you. So be a little patient, Wamalwa. Okay. Yeah. So Arc catalog, if you cannot see it, on your left, you come to Windows right here, and you will see catalog. You can check it. If you don't see it here, just click it, and it should appear. If it is hidden right here, it will just pop out. Again, there's a place you can get this Arc catalog right here. So this tool, let me drag it here so that you can see the name of this tool right here. So this tool right here called a standard tool. This is the tool that contains the Arc catalog. So if you cannot find it, here, just drag one of them and confirm if it is standard. You will see the Arc catalog right there, and then you can easily click on it and it will pop. Okay. So once you can connect to a folder by clicking on this button right here. There's a folder icon and then there's a plus. So that icon, when you click it, it will enable you to connect to a folder. If you want to start working and your data is in, perhaps you downloaded the data I sent to your email, ensure you have extracted that data because it is zipped. So once you extract it and you extract it, I instructed you to extract it on one folder. Don't extract it in different folders, just extract it in one folder. So you just connect to that folder here. Navigate to that place where you have, like mine, I have the data right here in training, and then ArcGIS, and then the data is right here, but I already connected to the folder, so I don't have to add it again. So ensure you connect to the folder and connect to the folder with the data that I sent to your email, because we will use that data now. This is the next step that we will be covering, and I will show you how we can organize the layers and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can be connecting to the folder right now. If you're having a little bit of trouble, please let me know. You are muted. Just type on the chat box. You can type privately if you want. Okay. Okay, connecting to a folder should not take you long. I'm assuming you're almost done now. Okay, so the next tool here called search. Search, you may not use this search unless you are used to ArcGIS a lot. Because mostly this one will be a little bit more technical kidogo. But I will show you some trick. It is used to search. You can use it to search a tool. You can use it to query. I don't know. But you use it to query? Okay. Mostly I use it to search tools. When I click on toolbar, let me show you toolbar. There's a toolbar here on the standard part. In the standard tools is a Arc toolbox. So in Arc toolbox, when you click it, you realize that there are so many. It's taking long. Is it going to crash? I hope it will not. So okay, it is here. So the Arc toolbox contains very many tools. Sometimes you want to look for a tool, you don't even know which category it is in. You keep expanding here and it gives you more and more and more options. You see, like I have expanded data management tools and I have expanded feature class. And you see, you have to expand all this to find that specific tool. So mostly search, I use it to search for a tool more easily. So let me show you something that I do. Okay, so let me show you some little bit of searching. So let me search a tool called intersect. And then I hit enter. You can see it throws so many results right here. And perhaps if you're not used to ArcGIS, you may not know which one to pick. So for instance, if I click on the first one right here, okay, so these are green kind of these are path actually. It's a path. So the path highlighted in green, if you click it, it will direct me. You see in the catalog now, it will direct me to the tool called intersect. And it explains to me better how I can access this tool called intersect in the Arc toolbox. So I just need to come to the toolbox. And then on the toolbox, I search for a tool called analysis tools in the toolbox. So it is right here, analysis tools. And then what's that? So, okay, so I have it back. So on analysis tool, I can open overlay. So I open overlay right here. And then here is my intersect tool. You see, if you didn't know where it is, you can easily search it. Okay, so you just need to be used to the search function, because now you may search and it will throw so many options. So you just have to be a little bit used so that you may know which result to pick and which one to avoid. For instance, personally, I look at the path in green and I see if it does not direct me to the toolbox. Like this one will go to the toolbox and then analysis tool, / analysis tool. But that one is a little bit advanced. Don't worry about it for now. So you will get used to search maybe at later stages. Okay. That was just a little bit of familiarity with searching. So the Arc toolbox now, let me cover the Arc toolbox now. The Arc toolbox. So it is right here. So the Arc toolbox will contain tools that may not be listed when I right click here. Some of these, all these are tools by the, all these are toolbars actually. Toolbars containing tools. So this, all these tools will be here in the Arc toolbox. And then they will be grouped into toolbars, which will be somewhere here. If you right click, you have these options. So that is the tools you will use to draw. These are the tools you use to draw when you have data, and also to actually to edit data you have, and to analyze the data you have. Okay. So let us jump now straight to working with vector data, because now I have introduced the concept of interface. Now we can jump straight to okay. So somebody is telling me something interesting here. Okay, okay. I will get to that. Don't worry. I will get to that after the end of the session. So working with vector data, what is up with you guys in private messages? Yeah, I also see you guys, but I like it. It is good to have people who are passionate. Yeah, but you like private messages a lot. Okay. Okay, sawa. Working with vector data. So vector data, I sent you data on Kenya, on the administrative boundaries, all that data I sent there. It was data on major towns. There was also data on major roads. So I just sent that data just for the purpose of this part, which we will cover here, called working with vector data, just the basic part of working with vector data. So vector data is actually data in terms of lines, points, and polygons. So that is vector data. Raster will be some kind of images, maybe from remote sensing, from photogrammetry. That is now raster, but vector is just data in terms of points, lines, and polygons. So I sent you guys some data. Let me just connect from my catalog. I will connect to the folder where I have this data installed. Okay, so let me just minimize these tools here. They are making my computer to be slow. Okay, so let me connect to the folder. Should be this one. Yeah, so there is a folder here called district boundaries. I sent you this one. So if I want to add data right here in my field, I can just simply drag and drop that data and it will add. You can see the boundaries here, the way they are. There was a little bit some kind of messy work done here. This is data I downloaded from, I guess it was KNBS website. I don't think they did a good work of coloring. Yeah, these things are not even clear well. Okay. So that is now data on boundaries. It is in terms of lines, and these lines join to form polygons, and so on. So these are data I also sent you guys, data on, let's open major roads. So let me drag and drop. And you can see these are warning here. I left this warning intentionally because I wanted to explain something. And then now these warnings will be thrown mostly depending on the coordinate system. If data is referenced to a different coordinate system, it will draw a warning. Like this one is a geographic coordinate system warning. It tells me, hey, the data you want to put in this map, you want to add to this map, does not have the same coordinate system. And mostly these warnings, you may ignore them, but if the data you worked it yourself and you kind of messed with your coordinate system, you will have some little bit of a mess in your data. But don't worry about that. That is not going to affect anything in our case. Okay. So you can see this data on roads. Now, watch what happens to the layer panel here. As I keep adding, I have added the district boundaries and the major roads. And you can see now I have a layer. Now these are now called layers now. The first layer is the layer that contains the district boundaries. The second layer is the layer containing the major roads. And you can see now I can draw different layers in the same, like this one draws roads at the same place. It is drawing on the same pan, let's say a plane. It is drawing roads. Okay, so that is why they are called layers, because you may visualize them as one came first and then the second one came on the top. Okay, and then there's a data type I want us to discuss called now. If you look at this catalog right here, the data I added on district boundaries, it is .shp. It is raining outside. I hope it will not mess my video. Okay, so this is .shp. So the data if I navigate to this folder where I have saved this work, you realize that district boundaries will not be one. Let me just navigate. Let me navigate just for the purpose of illustrating to you guys, so that when you are working with data, you don't corrupt it. Okay, so let me navigate to the panel where I have saved my. Are you guys able to hear me? It is raining here. I'm getting a little bit. I'm feeling like I'm shouting. Are you guys able to hear me? So district boundaries is right here. So if you look at the boundaries, there are very many. In fact, there are 6 items on this folder. But when I navigate to the catalog in ArcGIS right here, you can see that is converted into only one .shp file. But you see the types here are not there are many. You can see these. There's one called .dbf, .prj, .xml. All this is kind of grouped to form one data type called .shp. And if you want to open that data on district boundaries from here, you may find some little bit of problem because you don't know now which one to pick and which one to leave. So like this one, .prj, This one contains data on projection. So this one will contain some kind of projection data that helps you to project a map on ArcGIS. .dbf will contain the data that responds to the attributes of the shapefile. So data that connects to the attributes table is here. So you don't know which one to open if you navigate in this panel now, because you will get confused. And if you remove one from the panel, you mess with your data. That is why I told you guys to make sure that you install all of them in the same folder, okay? So that you don't mess around with your data. Because you can see they are a lot. ArcGIS has a way of recognizing them and just making them as one so that it can give you the data that is relevant to you, the data that is .shp. Okay, so I just thought I should say that for the purpose of you guys don't mess with your data at the end of your, maybe you may be working on a map and then you realize your data got messed up. Okay, so ensure that you have these folders arranged well so that if it is going to search for these types of data, it can find all of them in one folder. You don't want to scatter them because it will not find them. Okay. Okay, so that is .shp. So I thought I should explain that because very many people want to open data, and when they try to open, they find data that they don't know which one to click and which one not to click. Mostly it is the .shp that you should click. So just look for the .shp and click that one, drag it and drop it. It will draw, okay? It will draw the line. If it's a line, it will draw the line. If it is a point, it will draw a point. And if it's a polygon, it will draw a polygon. Now, they are also icons. If you look at the name in the front, there's an icon there. And district boundaries, and I can see there's an icon right there. If I open now, let's say protected areas, you can see the icon is similar, meaning that that data on boundaries and that data on protected areas, they are of the same type. They are both of them could be maybe lines, both of them could be points, both of them could be polygons. But it is very easy to know which one is a line, which one is a point, and which one is a polygon. Now, if you look like uangalie hii ya kwanza hapa, protected areas, that icon will indicate a polygon, okay? And if you look at the major roads here, the icon here is a different icon from this one because this is an icon that represents a line. So you can easily tell the data type just by looking at the icon. Okay, so let me check if we have a data type point. I should have data point, data type point. So let me check the hotel beds. I'm not sure I sent you that. Okay, so hotel beds. This one is a point, right? Let me. Does it even appear? Okay. I didn't look at this data very well. That is why I didn't even send it. Okay, so I'm looking for a data type that I have that has points. Yeah, thank you. We have this one here, the hotel lodges. Now, if you see, look at this icon right here, it indicates that the data that is here is a point. You can easily tell by the dots here. And if I drag it and drop it, you can see it will draw some points right here. If you have the data on major towns, I can't trace that folder here. If you have it in your, I sent that data. If you have it, try and drag and drop it, and you will see it will be a distribution of very many points. Like you can see here, the hotel lodges data, and it has different icon from a polygon, and it has different icon from the data on lines. Okay. All right. So that is now vector data now. I had to explain the icon so that you can be comfortable with them, and you can be sure which data to drag and drop in your working space. Because some of you would want to drop a folder, and you realize it is not even dropping because the folder, the ArcGIS does not recognize that as an SHP, so it will not draw anything. It will throw an error. So what I'm doing right now, I'm using the mouse wheel to scroll for the purpose of zooming. If you have not interacted with ArcGIS before, these are mouse functions. This is panning. You can just do that by clicking and holding. This zooming in, which you can just use the scrolling wheel. There's also, if maybe you are you are working in a globe surface and you lose your work, you can always come here and find it. You just click this button right here, looking like it looks like a globe. It is called full extent. Just click it, and it will bring your work back to the extent that you are working on, the surface you are working on. It will zoom it in for you easily. Okay. Well, let us look at the attributes table now. The attributes table, it is a table that comes, if you have any layer added here, it should have an attribute table. Even if it was not, even if the attributes table is empty, meaning that there was nothing that was put in that attributes table, it should have it. Every data type should have every layer should have an attributes table by default. But these tables may be blank if they were not filled. And if you want to access the attributes table, what do? You just come and select the layer which you want to access the attributes table. If maybe you want to access the attributes table for major roads, just come and select it first. Be sure that it is in blue, and then right click, and then you can open attributes table. There's an option there to open attributes table, and then when you open, you can see there's a table right there. I can move it around. Now this table will have rows and columns. Now the rows are mostly used to select attributes. Now you realize these are major rows. These are the ones highlighted here in red. So if I want to select maybe like you can see the type is a polyline. Major rows, the type is a polyline. So if I select on the row, these are the rows. If I select on that, it will select the attribute also here in this interface. And if I want to select all of them, I can just drag around all of them and it will select. And there are so many here. I can see there are 316. And you can see all of them are now selected. They have that blue line, that blue color. Okay, so that is how you select. If you want to work on, if you want to select specific parts of the road, you can use that attributes table to help you access which one you want to select. Okay. Now to undo the selection, this is where people get confused now. They want to click here and see if they can undo. You cannot undo by just doing that. So it will not work. So if you want to undo, you will just come here. Let me bring my map back. Okay. So if I want to undo them, let me select them. Let me actually all of them. Let me select some of them. Yeah, these ones. Now, if I want to undo this selection, I will just come on the top here. There should be a place where it says clear selection. And then you can just click and it will clear every other thing that you had selected. Okay. Okay. More messages on my. All right. So Faustin is requesting that I check towns. Okay. Let us go to. I think I don't have that data on towns. The one I just added here is on hotel and lodges. I don't know where I placed that one. I think I downloaded it on a different file because I was downloading on different pages. But I can connect to the folder. I'm not sure if it is extracted yet. But if I want, for example, let me just work with lodges for the purpose of illustration. So if I open the attributes table for lodges, you can see now there are columns and rows. Now the column, the first thing it should indicate is the number, and then there's a very important attribute here, which is shape. This one is now a point, and every other thing here will be a point. So the other one was a line, right? And it is a polyline. It could be a polygon as well. And then there's the name. Like you can see now, this one is Lake Turkana Fishing Lodge. And if I select it, you'll be able to see that lodge here selected. Okay. And then maybe the second one, if I highlight it, you'll be able to see it. Should be somewhere selected. I cannot trace it. These are a lot. But it is selected. It should be below. So actually, that is the one just next to Lake Turkana Fishing Lodge. This is Lake Turkana Fishing Lodge, and then it drops to the next one right here. So yeah, maybe they organized them. This is in the location, and then you can see the type. It is a lodge. The data here, the data that appears on the attributes table will depend on the source of the data. I used the data from KNBS, and that is what they have. Okay, so if maybe I use a different source that maybe used this data for different work, they will have different attributes in the attributes table. Some of these attributes may be even blank, like you can see 12, 13, and 14 are blank on the names. Maybe they didn't know the names, so they left them blank. So this one depends on where you get your data from. Okay, so there's a way of also sorting. If you realize, like if you look at these types, you can see lodge, 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 and then campsite, campsite, then lodge. I can sort them so that I have lodges grouped together, and then sites will follow by just double clicking on that column, and then campsites will begin, and then hotels will follow. That is sorting. Now, if you want to sort them by maybe type, you may want to sort them by name. Maybe that one will do alphabetically. I don't know. Yeah, that is what it did actually, by alphabets. So you can sort. That is called sorting. You can mess around with this table and the way things appear in the table. If maybe you want to fetch data faster, okay? Now, let us look at another layer. Hotel beds. This one looks similar to this. Did I add this twice? Maybe I did. Okay, so district boundaries. Now, there's something I need to mention. Below the layer, you will see some icons here. Like this one will be a point. This one will be a line because the type is a line, and then this one is a polygon because the type is a polygon. It is a square. So if I click on this one, it will help me. If I double click, it will help me edit some of the properties of this dot right here, the point, sorry, not the dot, the point. So it will help me to edit maybe the color, the size, maybe, yeah, something like that. If I'm using roads, it could give me some dashes on the line. Yeah, something like this. Some are dashed, others are bold, others are double, others are triple. So yeah, I can do that. I can just edit from here. I can increase the width, the color. I can also edit the symbol if I need to. Yeah. So this one will get more comfortable with when you have data. If it is a road, I told you this data didn't look very good to me. But anyway, for the purpose of illustration, I just downloaded it. So you may want to put your roads with some good looking symbols. For the purpose of illustrating, this one is a main highway. Maybe if you want to distinguish it from maybe the other roads, the all-weather roads, the feeder roads, and so on. So this is where you work and change your data from. Okay, so a polygon. Sometimes you may want something to be hollow, like these are a polygon that has some little bit of color. If you look at it, there's a little bit of color with it. I can make it hollow so that there's no color that appears in the background. And that was with the hotels. Let me also do the same to district boundaries so that these boundaries, I see, yeah, they can lose that color. You see, they lost the color. Yeah, the boundaries also, these ones were set as polygons. So that means if I wanted to make the boundary a provincial boundary or a district boundary, I may not do that because now these boundaries were just set as polygons. So like if I come to the attributes table and I select one boundary, you realize there's a problem with the naming of this data. So if I come to the attributes table, oh no, is it going to crash? No, it is not going to crash. So let us wait for it to respond. So yeah, thank you. So if I open the attributes table and select Baringo, you realize it will select that part of Baringo. And if I give it, because it's a polygon, if I decide to retain the color it had, which was something like this, you see the Baringo thing will be like enclosed in a polygon. I expected the color that would change is the boundary color. But you see the boundary color does not change. It is a background color, which means there was a proper naming of this. It should have been a line, or perhaps they should have indicated this is a polygon, indicating maybe a county, not really a boundary, because a boundary we are expecting it to be a line. Okay. Yeah, and I wonder how this data was in KNBS. Anyway, anyway, it was there. That is where I found it. Okay, so that is working with vector data. Now we have covered. Let me look at our guide. We have covered the table of contents, the layers, the ARC catalog. I just introduced something on how you can add connect to a folder, the toolbox, and the tools. Working with vector data, I have introduced points, lines, and polygons. We will not do styling and adding labels in this tutorial because now this one is giving me a little bit of involvement as we go down. We will cover this one in our next lesson. So for this lesson, I feel we have done what I was planning we do. But in the next lesson, we will cover the styling up and the adding of labels and the basic vector geoprocessing, all the way to exporting files into KMZ format and viewing them in Google Earth. Google Earth is an application which is open source. I have it in my drive again. If you don't have it, request for it. I can grant you permission to download it from my drive. Alternatively, you can just download it from any other app which works with like I know Softonic does good apps. If you go to softonic.com, you can find Google Earth there. You can also go direct to their site and download it from there. So we will look at that in our next lesson. And then we will move to raster data. This one is a little bit different from vector data in our next lesson. So I will stop there for now because I have covered what I wanted to cover today. So unless there's a question, unless there's something somebody would want to share their screen, maybe you faced a challenge, I can allow you do that, and then I can help you out. Okay.